Billy Bat. Cartoon, spirit, demon, god, multiversal threat, author, manipulator, instigator, manifestation of desire, fraud, fake, foreseen, forfeit the planet, guide, scribe, bribe, the madness of the world. Who is Billy Bat? Today we're going to be looking at who Billy Bat is and explaining a bit around the time travel mechanics in this story. I promise this is all relevant to understanding Billy and the ending. I'd like to note that this is my interpretation of the story and I can't guide you with any hard facts. Billy, well, he's a slippery boy who manages to confuse you right when you think you've got him worked out. As such, I'm going to be explaining my thoughts and give the explanations as I see them. Think of this as deep Dark Souls lore. Surely there is an answer somewhere, but heck if we have enough information to find it. So I'm going to do my best to give some solid answers, but this video might just raise more questions than it does answer. So here's our itinerary for today. Firstly, what is a Billy Bat? Secondly, where did Billy come from? Thirdly, and by far the most beefy part of the video, who is Billy Bat? If you haven't read Billy Bat before, there's the links in the annotations here, in the description below, etc. Alrighty, let's crack in. Billy Bat is a supernatural being that exists beyond our understanding. He doesn't have a physical form, he can talk to people across any distance, although there are limitations like we've seen during Golden Age. There are relics in the world that help him speak to people, like the Momochi Scroll or the drawing on the moon. He can show people visions and prophecies of the future. He can appear in the real world, but it's never actually confirmed if he can tangibly change things. Across the story, Billy is split into three parts. There is the Black Bat, the White Bat, and Moon Billy, each without a visible distinction between them. One of the key bits of information we get about this split is by Shisho in Kurusu's history. When Shisho changed his ways, the Bat changed his. We never get a consensus on which Bat can be trusted, but it seems that the Bat is not fully independent of the person that he talks to. What I mean by this is that the Bat is somewhat symbiotic to what the person wants, that the characters influence what Billy says as much as what Billy says influences the characters. We're going to pick this up in more detail in the Ending Explained video, so stay tuned. This isn't to say that Billy Bat is just a manifestation of someone's desires. We see this through Jackie. She wants nothing to do with the Bat and just wants to live her life. Yet it is 100% the Bat that pulls her back into the narrative. So Billy does have a character of his own, with his own abilities and wants. One of Billy's biggest abilities is the one to change history, which brings us into... This is going to be a bit of a journey with some key assumptions, so please try and stay with me. Let's start with how the time travel works in Billy Bat. This story exists in a multiverse with near infinite Earths in near infinite universes. Each universe is assumedly a little bit different, with minor things happening a little bit differently. You miss the train or you catch the train. The butterfly flaps its wings just the right way kind of deal. We say this is a near infinite multiverse as we know there is a limit. At the time of the story, all of the other Earths in the multiverse have been destroyed. There is only one Earth left, and it is the one in which the story takes place. Which brings us to Billy. Billy has the ability to rewrite history literally. He can cause time to reverse and influence events in such a way that the desired wish can come true. We see this when Kevin draws the outcome of Kurusu's wish. Each time Billy does this, an Earth is destroyed from the multiverse. Now, that's all the details we get on the time travel mechanic because no one actually uses it in the entire story. So why is there only one Earth left? It's likely that humans have been using the power of the Bat to time travel again and again, consuming Earths without regard to their scarcity. This is in line with the ending of Billy Bat, where humans have ravaged the Earth's resources without any regard to the world's well-being. Also, as an aside, presumably this Earth is the result of a previous wish. So has someone who is living a very successful life, like Golden Cola Air comic superstar Kevin or Culkin Master Timmy, could they have been the ones who made the previous wish? My assumption is that the Earth that makes the wish is the one consumed for the wish. Billy and the Wishmaker then move to the next Earth, where either the circumstances for the wish is just how this world works, or Billy actually does manipulate the past into the wish's demands. This would mean that Billy likely started out as some eldritch-esque horror on the weirdest Earth in the multiverse. By using his power again and again, he has jumped from Earth to Earth, watching humanity play out a near infinite number of times. each time letting some short-sighted human doom a world to make their dreams come true. Similar to how we've seen some characters doom a world to make their dreams come true. This would explain why Billy has such a clear idea of what is going to happen in the story. He would have seen it play out like this so many times. But it also explains why some things happen against what he is expecting, like at the end of Spaceman. Each Earth in the multiverse is slightly different, so some things must be unique to this Earth. Okay, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Who is our boy Billy? We first meet Billy when Kevin Yamagata is drugged in the yakitori stand. This Billy is preying on Kevin's desire for success and safety, promising him Billy Land and vengeance on his co-worker who's blackmailing him. All through the Japan history arc, Billy is painted as more of a villain than anything else. He drives people mad with greed over the scroll. We see him convincing Kanbei to strike down Yajiro. We see how the other Eiga ninjas believe him to be a demon that needs burying. When Billy talks to Kevin convincing him to go to America, this is more of a nudge down Billy's narrative than it is a good act. In the Lee Harvey Oswald arc, Billy describes himself as a kind of historian, looking to document the true history of the world. This is achieved through the various authors or artists, Shisho, Zofu, the Kevins. Kevin Yamagata needed to be in Dallas to meet Oswald and learn the truth, just like how Kevin Goodman needed to be in Culkin Enterprises to learn the truth about Timmy and the moon landing. In this arc, we also see how Billy manipulates Lee into action and tortures Kevin with continuous visions of the future, once again painting Billy in a generally unkind tone. To contrast this, we do see Billy in some nicer lights when he convinces Lee he is a hero by saving Jackie, or as he helps Randy just drive his taxi round. All of these are generally skewed though by this idea that Billy is just playing everyone along some grand design that he has, that he never actually does anything good or altruistic for people besides that which is in line with his own goal. Let's talk about Billy's plan. What's his goal? What's his purpose? I think Billy is the in-universe narrator of humanity's story. He has a roadmap of how he wants to see humanity play out this time, and subtly nudges things in order to fulfill that outcome. His ideal ending was Kurusu making the wish and watching the world burn around him. But Kevin changed that, surely against the Bat's expectations. Billy is a crafty boy though, because if the world was supposed to end in the 80s, why is there 9/11 details on the Momochi scroll? I think Billy definitely did have plans for the story after Spaceman and Kurusu not making the wish, but whether or not it followed what he wanted is ambiguous. I think this is by design, as one of the big themes we're going to be talking about is free will, and whether people can actually make significant choices. So, over this whole story, even at the end, we don't know if characters did dance along to Billy's strings, or if they could choose their own path. This caught me out while looking at the story. I thought for the longest time that characters must have free choice because Kevin changes the story in Spaceman and Billy complains, saying that humanity was supposed to end. But this is clearly false, otherwise why include 9/11 on the scroll? Then again, what if the scroll was pulled from the previous Wish's Earth, and that Earth simply went further along in history? My opinion is that Billy has a number of stories that he would be happy telling. A number of goals where only one could be achieved. Like a game of Civ, where he's going for the cultural victory, the science victory, the religious victory, and the diplomatic victory, all at the same time. If we continue with this idea that Billy is influenced by those that he talks to, then ultimately it is humanity that decides what the story will be, like going into a bookstore with a predetermined number of books and us selecting the one that we want. The way that this story progressed looked like Billy was about to get a science victory at the end of Spaceman, but it didn't quite pan out. In the end, humanity chooses the Pandora's Box ending where the world is in shambles, but there is a ray of hope left. It's easy to think of Billy as some force majeure that people can only submit to, but our characters have more autonomy than they think. Looking at the ending of Spaceman, Kurusu wholeheartedly believes that Billy manipulated his life start to finish. When he's presented with the idea that maybe he's wrong, by Billy himself, that it all clicks together. He had the opportunity this whole time to forge his own path, but he didn't choose to. Before we come to a close, let's talk about the ending. At the end of Billy Bat, Billy tells Kevin that he doesn't know if it will make a difference, but Kevin should draw, and keep drawing. I think this is the first time that humanity has made it to this point. Previously, someone would have used the scroll already, resetting the world. Now, Billy is seeing something new for the first time, how humanity will end by its own hands. And he doesn't want to influence that. He tells Kevin to do what he was born to do, to draw. That's his purpose in this world and it's all he can do. Then, Billy is never seen again. From the way Billy speaks, he's equal parts fed up with humanity, but also curious. While he won't meddle in affairs anymore, he's probably still out there, watching how this grand drama will all eventually end. One final important thing to note is that a lot of information about Billy and the story comes from Billy himself. We assume that each time he tells us something that he's being honest, but really, what reason do we have for thinking that? All through this video we see how Billy really doesn't care about humanity or people. He's just out to make a story. Why are we believing anything that he tells us? Okay, bonus round. We're going to go through some quick Billy Bat theories. Number 1. Are the black and white Billies also the Billies of the heart, while there is a separate Billy that influences actions? Do people make their own decisions, saying that the bat told them, when really it was just their own heart choice? Are most of the Billy encounters in the story just people justifying their own decisions? Number 2. Is Billy Bat just an author insert? Is he Naoki talking through the story, nudging it along what would make a good read, regardless of any internal character consistency? Number 3. Are the black and white bats competing the whole time to achieve different endings? Do they have different outcomes that they are both vying for across the entire series? Number 4. Did Billy lie the whole time, and is everything that we thought we knew about this story just simple fiction? Alrighty, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I hope I've managed to give you some things to chew on around who Billy Bat is. If you've got your own theories or ideas, please do drop them in the comments below. I do love hearing how other people interpret the story and Billy. He is just supposed to be intentionally vague, I think, so getting a solid idea is difficult, lemon difficult. These are just my thoughts, and who really knows what the actual canon is. The ending explained video will be the next one out, and I've broken it down into 2 chunks. Next time we'll be covering the ending by view of the themes and the internal story ties, then the following will be a more in-story view looking at the characters and how the ending affects them. I just needed to explain some things about Billy first to stop that video having this massive tangent where I cover all of this content. Thanks again, this has been CG, and I'll see you Gs in the next one.